Good morning, everybody. This is LIN 141, Introductory Phonetics, and we'll be considering the first module of LIN 141, which is defining phonetics, that is, articulatory phonetics. Well, I'll assume this is your very first encounter as far as phonetics is concerned, and you have heard people saying, he's speaking phone, and you wonder what phone means. And this study section will therefore introduce you to the concept of phonetics and get you to understand how phonetics is located in the big picture of linguistics as a field of study. At the end, you'll be able to define phonetics. You'll be able to talk about the differences between the speech of humans and that of animals and what makes there to be the difference. And also you'll be able to state the branches of phonetics. So basically, we'll start with the definition. What is phonetics? Phonetics, we say, is a scientific study of speech sounds. So when we say it is scientific, it means it incorporates the methods and instruments that science normally would use. And this would be things like observation, deduction, and prescription, like scientists will talk about. So that means the scientific instruments that we use in phonetics will include the equipment with which you will use to do the analysis. You will get to understand this more as you proceed in the course of study. We now say that speech is primarily human, and we said phonetics is a scientific study of speech sounds. That means human beings only would make use of speech. So when you have a bark from a dog, when you have any other sound from any other creature apart from a human being, we cannot refer to such as a speech sound. It's only that which comes from human beings that we refer to as speech sounds. That means speech is primarily human. This is very important, and you have to note this as we proceed in the course of this study. Speech is primarily human. Alright, we will just quickly talk about the branches of phonetics. And there are three branches basically. We have articulatory phonetics, auditory phonetics, and acoustic phonetics. Articulatory phonetics focuses on how sounds are produced, just like you would take from the root word articulate, which comes from articulation. So articulatory phonetics is the aspect that focuses on how sounds are produced. Auditory phonetics is the other one, and it has to do with how we hear sounds and transfer sounds to the brain. And the last aspect is acoustic phonetics. This is concerned with the physical properties of sounds. Acoustics, the physical property of sounds and how they are transmitted to the ear. So articulatory, auditory, and the last one, which is acoustics. Now we try to associate and bring linguistics as a general field, then try to locate phonetics as far as linguistics as a general course is concerned. So we said that phonetics studies speech sounds. What is closely related to phonetics that you will get to understand as you move in the course of this study is phonology. Phonology has to do with the sound system of a language. So phonology is built on phonetics. So phonology is a broader view. Phonetics studies speech sounds in isolation, but phonology now studies the sound system of a language. And it's going to investigate how sounds are used in specific languages, the importance of each sound, and how the sound features are used in each language. After this, we'll talk about morphology. Morphology is coined from the word morpheme, which has to do with individual sounds. So morphology now deals with the formation of words by bringing together different minimal words that we refer to as morphemes to form sentences. And closely related to morphology, just like phonology is closely related to phonetics, is what we have to deal with that is referred to as syntax. Syntax has to do with stringing together of words to form sentences. You know, we said that morphology will deal with morphemes that we refer to as individual sounds. Now, syntax will now deal with stringing together of these individual sounds, of individual words, to form sentences. And one other very important aspect as far as linguistics is concerned is what we refer to as semantics. And semantics has to do with the study of meaning. The study of meaning. This is a very important aspect that we have to consider. There is actually a very interesting example that we'll be looking at. We have a word, a string of words. A woman without a man is a beast. A woman without a man is a beast. Without any punctuation. When ladies were asked to punctuate this sequence of words, a woman without a man is a beast, the women punctuated it to be a woman, comma, without a, comma, man is a beast. A woman without a, man is a beast. Then when men were asked to punctuate this same string of words, a woman without a, man is a beast, they punctuated it to be a woman, comma, without a man, comma, is a beast. A woman without a man is a beast. You can see the domain of meaning. So, punctuations and some other things would come into play when we are dealing with strings of words to give us the domain of meaning that is catered for under what we refer to as semantics. And the last aspect of linguistics that we'll be looking at is what we refer to as applied linguistics. And this looks at linguistics as it is situated in some other fields. And the very first one that comes to mind is what we refer to as social linguistics. Social linguistics has to do with the interrelatedness of language and the society. You know, one very certain thing is we cannot study language in isolation of the society, because it's the people in a community that make use of a language. So social linguistics has to do with the use of language in society, and this will come under what we refer to as applied linguistics. Another aspect is psycholinguistics. That has to do with the formation of words, and in this aspect we'll be talking about how speech emanates, where it comes from, and the other things. These actually are the fields of linguistics. We have talked about phonetics, phonology, morphology, syntax, semantics, and applied linguistics. Applied linguistics, under that we talked about social linguistics and psycholinguistics. So basically in this module, summarily, we have talked about phonetics. I would say phonetics is the scientific study of speech sounds. I would say speech sounds is primarily going to be used by human beings. Speech is primarily human. In the next module that we'll be talking about how speech emanates, and we'll talk about it from the point of view of the brain. Every human activity starts from the brain. We'll talk about that in the next module. So we said that phonetics is a scientific study of speech sounds. Speech is primarily human. Then we tried looking at phonetics as it is situated in linguistics as a general concept. Now that is, we talked about phonetics, phonology, morphology, syntax, semantics, and applied linguistics. Thank you very much for participating.